Hey guys, welcome to episode number 176 of the Game On Girlfriend podcast. I'm a little bit excited today because you know how I love me some plants. I know I try so hard to be vegan, but I love plants and I'm so blown away by the power they have and how much they can support us little humans wandering around this planet. And today I get to bring you Shannon Mulligan-Mayernik. She is the founder of Mayernik Kitchen, which is, hang on to your hats and glasses, a modern day apothecary. Yes, please. Let's go. Right. So what we do today is we are going to be talking about the power of plants. How can they support our bodies? How do they help us? And our beautiful Shannon shares her story about how she knew this was the right thing for her to do. She knew this was her job. She knew she was going to dive in with everything she had. And you guys, she knew this after one class on the power of plants. Yeah, one. You guys. Oh my gosh. So what I think is so cool about this episode and what I hope you listen for is number one, Shannon's honesty in her journey. This was not an overnight thing. This happened over years, even though after that first class, she felt this amazing sense of excitement and urgency. She had the patience and the passion and the courage to keep going, even when it was a little bit slower than she would have liked. And for those of you that aren't sure what your passion is, or you too have taken a class or read a book or watched a video and like you've sort of felt that spark and you're thinking, oh my gosh, am I crazy? Is this my thing? I want you to listen to Shannon's story because chances are it is your thing. I believe that you can make a business out of anything as long as you follow your talents and you put in your experience and you dial in on your expertise. You can literally create a business out of anything. And I think Shannon's story proves that. I love the way she talks about it. I think you're going to love it too. And underneath this video or in the show notes, you are going to see a coupon code for all of you girlfriends to be able to purchase from Shannon directly online anything you might need to help you start feeling better. So without further ado, pop in those earphones and let's get to it. Shannon, welcome to the Game On Girlfriend podcast. I'm so happy you're here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun conversation from two plant lovers, I hope, right?
Yes, yes.
But I'd love to hear more about your company, what you do, what you offer, and tell us a little bit about how you got started.
Yeah, so it was probably, I want to say now maybe 14 years ago. I took a class at a small herb shop in Chester, New York, and met then my herbalist and mentor friend, learned so much from her, but she was the one teaching the class. And I came home that night and told my husband, I want to do this. So it was one class. And whenever I tell people this, they're like, really? Literally one class. I just fell in love with the idea that like I could use the plants that are either growing outside or plants that I could grow as medicine. Like, what? So, fast forward, I started taking more classes. I did a 3-year apprenticeship with my mentor who I met that night. Okay. I've done online courses and have just been studying and immersing myself in this world ever since. It was then in 2015 when my husband was out gardening one day and he came in, he's like, just got like a lot of oregano. He's like, we need to do something. Like we need to start sharing So in 2015, Mayernik Kitchen was created. And since then, we've been, making products, growing plants. We've expanded. We're now farming. So it's been a journey, but we've done it in a slow and kind of steady process, which I'm grateful. Like we didn't just jump in. So it's been a great experience.
That is so cool. I got chills when you said that. Like, hey, we should maybe share this. Like, I was like,
right.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I want to dive into that first class just a little bit with you, because I know a lot of people who listen or watch this podcast, what can sort of happen for them is it's like, they're like, oh, can I really do this? Is this really a thing? Or something starts to pull at them. And then they kind of question it. Like, is that a real thing? Can I really do this? If you could put us in that first class with you in Chester, right? You're sitting there. What happened? Like, what was it that had you have the confidence to come home after one class and say, this is what I want to do? What happened to you in that class? What were you feeling? What did you sense? Tell us.
Yeah, I think it was it was at like I said, a tiny herb shop. If I remember correctly, a group of women. I had gone with a coworker. She asked me to go. I said, yeah, why not? A night out. And it was just like the connection from what my mentor, Robin Rose Bennett, was, giving to us, and also just the connection of women that I only knew the girl I went with. So it was, okay, I don't know all these other women, but like, I felt like we were all drawn to the same thing. We all just kind of came together in community, and it just literally sparked something in me. Robin is very much so, an herbalist. She calls herself a green witch, and just very much so, connected to the earth. And she sang some songs. And at first I was like, oh, this is a little maybe woo-woo for me, but then just really like immerse myself into it and said, just this community of women that we don't know one another, but literally holding hands, singing, making medicine with plants. And it really just sparked something and opened something up in myself that I didn't know I had or wanted or needed. And I ran with it.
What did that feel like for you? I get so curious. I always say, like, listen to your gut. And then I'm like, I have to follow that up with what actually happens to the body when I say follow your gut. Like, do you remember physically how you felt? Was it like excitement? Was it like kind of you stunned? How did that feel? I think
it was definitely excitement. Like I said, I came home and right away was sharing with this is what we did. This is what we learned. This is what I brought home. And then just the mind running, where can I learn more? How can I learn more? So that's how I kind of felt like, okay, this is real. Like, this wasn't, I went to a class, I enjoyed it, and then put the stuff to the side and was like, maybe I'll pick that up another day. So it was very much so like, I want to start doing this now. So okay. I think it was that excitement, that drive that just overtook kind of.
So cool. I was just saying, I got a sense of urgency from you too. It wasn't even like, that was really cool. I'd love to study that someday. You were like,
I mean, it was like, tomorrow we're starting.
Wow. And then how did you do that with so you still had your 9-to-5 job, because you went with a coworker. So we know you were still working. What happened there? What was that transition like?
It was long. I wasn't 100% happy where I was working in publishing for over 12 years, and it was right out of college. I had no other work experience. So 3 weeks after college, graduated, got a job, and had been there since.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's commitment, by the way. Okay. So very cool.
So, I mean, I wasn't happy. I was comfortable in my job. I was working from home when it wasn't really a thing. I knew what I was doing, kind of what I could get away with being at home. So I was comfortable. I knew what I had to do. I was getting paid to do it. Yeah. So it just became a very comfortable situation. But after taking that class and then just starting to explore other things, I'm like, maybe this isn't what I need to be doing. Even though I'm comfortable, I need to step out of my comfort zone and really try something. So from taking the apprenticeship, and I did all of this while still working. And Mayernik Kitchen was incorporated while I still had my full-time job. Got it. So I was doing Mayernik Kitchen for 3 years before taking that leap and saying, I'm going to leave the full-time 9-to-5 benefits, all that good stuff. And I actually went and worked on a local farm for 3 years, part-time, building up Mayernik Kitchen. And then in 2020, we opened our retail shop, which was then that became my full-time job. So from 2015 to 2020, it was more of a side hustle, still working in some capacity. But then in 2020, it became my full-time job.
That is so cool. What a transition. And I love what you're sharing too, because I think so many times I call what we see online a lot, I call it entrepreneur porn, right? Where it's like, in 20 minutes, I had a business, right? It's like, nah, did you though? So this idea that really being honest about this immediate love, a total sense of urgency, you felt excited, you could feel that you were ready to do this, and it still takes time. And I think that's the piece that so many people miss. It doesn't mean that you wait. It doesn't mean don't start, still start today. Because a month from now, you wish you started today. 2 years ago from now, you'll wish you'd started today. So I love the truth of that story, Shannon, of really knowing it's your thing, understanding it's your thing, and still in it for the long haul. Not expecting it to just show up magically because you knew it was what you wanted to do. Was that frustrating for you? Was it exciting for you? What was that like for you as a human to go through that process?
It was I guess a little bit of both, right? So you're excited because you're building something new, you're doing something you love, but then on the other side, you're frustrated. I don't have the time because I am stuck at a desk 9 to 5, 5 days a week. Frustrated because I can't be doing things like talking to others during the day or meeting with, other like-minded people. So yeah, definitely frustrating. And I think that frustration is what really led me to saying, okay, I need to leave this. I still need a little buffer and, some sort of work. So I went and, like I said, went and worked on a farm for 3 years. And that just allowed me to really connect everything, because now I'm outside all day. My hands are getting dirty. I'm working with people who are enjoying the same things. Unlike sometimes in a corporate office, you're working with some miserable folks.
Yep.
Met
them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Know those guys. Yeah.
So it really kind of brought it full circle. Like that bridge working on a farm gave me more time because I was only part-time. And that allowed me the time then to say, okay, I'm going to leave the farm and this is going to be my full-time passion pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't even really, yes, I go to work, but I don't consider it work.
It's the best part, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know. I love that part when really you slip into that moment. I think it's Tony Robbins who says this the most often, but that time is emotion, right?
Yeah.
It can, when you're doing what you love, it flies because you're emotionally satisfied and grounded and happy. And when you're just like, oh my gosh, if one more minute ticks by, right? You're so off course.
Yes.
And the emotions tell you that. So it sounds like even though it took a while, you knew you were on your path. So there was joy along the way.
Yeah.
Even being stuck at a desk 9 to 5, 5 days a week. It's so funny. People say that. And I'm like, gosh, how did this catch on? This corporate thing? Like, I'm just like, how did we all sign up for this? Wait, time out. It's so funny.
Right.
And here you are now at a farm doing all these amazing things. And I mean, tell me, if you can, you guys, she did not know I was going to ask her this. Could you tell us, like, I would love to know a story or an interaction with a customer about, like, when actually working with these, plants as medicine, these herbs as medicine, have you had a great story, like a transformational story or an exciting story, like anything like that you've seen that you can share with us?
Oh yeah. Tons of stories. Just one that comes to mind. I had a woman who now comes into the shop very regularly. And we make it's a pain begone salve. So she's using it externally, not internally. And she was going for hip replacements. And she's like, I would get the shots, the steroid shots and things like that. She's like, using this pain begone salve, I've lessened the amount of shots. So it's not a complete swap, but I've lessened the shots of the steroid shots until she was able to get the surgery. And she's like, she's like, I'll put it anywhere. She said, I just like, it helps. And that's one of the products that we hear the most about is our pain begone salve and our elderberry syrup, just boosting immunity. And it's just such an old remedies, right?
Yes.
This is what was the only thing available many, many years ago, our grandparents, great grandparents, things like that. And it's very interesting to see it slowly coming back as something people are looking to use. Yeah. So when we do hear back from folks that this is working, or, I started taking this and I am no longer taking that, it's so not even rewarding, but just knowing, okay, we're sharing the knowledge that our ancestors knew and shared, that we're now able to do the same for these generations that are here. Yeah. Yeah. That is so cool. You're reminding me too, somebody once taught me, I feel like 100 years ago, but that the earth has provided through plants what we actually really need. And I was like, whatever, I was like, come on, man. And then it was like my early 20s and I was hiking the Inca Trail in Peru. Okay. And our guide was talking to us about, the altitude sickness, and boy, is it real. Like I grew up in Salt Lake City where I think I like lived at 4,500 feet. I'm like, whatever, no problem. I got there. I was so sick. I had the headaches. Like I couldn't see. I ran up the stairs once and almost passed out. I was like, right, slow down. It's like so real. You're so high. And our guide was like, oh, do you see along the trail these plants? Those are coca leaves that they make cocaine out of. So he's like, don't get tested after this. But these coca leaves are along this path. If you pick one and put it in between your cheek and your gums, you'll feel better almost immediately. And they would make us coca tea where they would just steep the leaves, in tea. And
I'll be dang. It
It
was
worked.
amazing. I was like, what? And he said to me again, he goes, I told you the earth will always provide what you need. And you just reminded me of that
Yeah.
story, but I think it's so true. Like,
Yeah.
how could we have this amazing planet and all of the intricacies and the beautiful things it provides and have that not be helpful to us at some point?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's so true. And especially in, Peru, they're very much so connected to the earth and the plants and, remedies. But you could walk out your backyard, any one of us, anyone listening, watching, you could walk out your backyard and there could be 5, 10, 15 different types of medicinal plants that we all consider weeds.
Right.
Your dandelions, your violets, all of these plants are medicinal. And, I grew up in a house where my dad wanted every dandelion out of the lawn. Like if there was one dandelion, it either had to be cut or sprayed or something.
Killed.
Now my lawn is like, bright yellow in the spring. And I just look at it and I think, okay, it's literally medicine.
Wow.
Dandelions are great for your digestion. And it's getting your head to wrap around the idea of this is out like in my backyard.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's part of our job too, is to teach this and to make others aware, because me learning all this, reading books, taking classes isn't going to help anyone if I don't share what I'm learning. If I keep it to myself, it's such a disservice to myself and everyone.
I mean, is that really what drives you? Is that really part of your why? Is like, I have to share this? Do you feel that urge?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, we are an open book. We share what we know. We share what we're learning. We teach classes. And if we don't, that's where it stops. Right. So our ancestors are the ones, and I keep talking about that, but in that time, it was stories shared from generation to generation. And then somewhere it kind of fell off. Now that I have this knowledge, I need to share it, because then I'm hoping whoever may be listening will share it with somebody else.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And I mean, Shannon, if someone is going through something, right? So it sounds like I'm thinking of your hip replacement customer, right? There's this combo between the herbal medication and I guess Western medication, right? Like, do you find most people do some sort of a combo? Are there people who find it better to rely more on herbal medicine? What do you see out there in the world, like as you're talking to customers and people who need support?
It's really across the board. So you'll have people who will 110% only rely on pharmaceuticals because that's what XYZ doctor told them to take. You'll have people that say, okay, I'm on this, but I don't want to be on it. What natural thing can I take? And then you have the spectrum of folks who are 100% against any type of pharmaceutical medicine, and they're only taking it. So it's very wide. So sometimes as a business owner, that gets tricky trying to, navigate where one may be, because you don't want to overstep. Everyone has their own choice, but it's maybe just getting a little something into them, like, well, maybe if you just swap this for this, see how that works. And then if they see a improvement in whatever way, they're hooked. It takes one time for them to be like, you know what, that tincture really helped my headache. What else do you have? Digestion, sleep. So it's a very like mindful type of game, Once they feel, okay, that worked, what else could work?
Right. Oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Kind of convince them to become a believer.
You're like, just try it. I'm over here, whatever.
Exactly. Just try it. Just like when you go out to dinner or something.
I love that. I love that. So, okay. So Shannon, let's say someone is listening right now and they're like, oh my gosh, I have to call her. I have to go. I'm like, their car's like driving over to you. Where can people find out more? And do you ship across the United States? Do you ship internationally? How does your business actually work if someone's listening and they're like, oh my gosh, I'd really like to learn more, understand what I could do?
Yeah. So we do ship nationwide. We originally started as just an online business. So we kind of, again, did things a little different. Most people start, your brick and mortar and then transition to, okay, now we're going to start shipping. We were online and then went to a brick and mortar. So we had that, very much so taken care of, which thankfully really helped us in 2020 and 2021. So it was nice that we knew that part of the business. The brick and mortar was what was new to us, retail face to face. So yes, we do ship nationwide. We have a website that links all of our products, ailments, plants. We have a large library of information you could take a look at for specific plants, or if you're thinking, oh, I have digestive issues, type in digestion and we'll share information with you.
Wonderful.
And then we also have the brick and mortar in Pompton Plains, New Jersey.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh. I think the whole people just like grabbed a pen and paper real quick. You guys don't worry. We will have the link to the website in the show notes here underneath this video. And I believe you're also on Instagram. Yeah. Do I have that right?
Yeah. Yes. So we are, and it's just at Mayernik Kitchen. So our name.
Yeah. Oh, so good. And by the way, I love that you call it a kitchen. I think that is so cool because I really happen to believe like food is medicine. So I love the idea of you cooking up medicine in the kitchen is so wonderful. It's so great.
And that's where we started. I mean, everything started in our kitchen at home. And, we do now get a lot of people coming into the store like, are you a cabinet store? No, we don't sell cabinets. Yeah. Or, are you serving food or tea or something like that? But because Mayernik's our last name, and then kitchen, everything we did when we first started back in 2015 was done in our kitchen. So it just was kind of like a play on words. And now it's just, we'll never change it.
Yeah, it's just what it is, man. We'll get everybody educated. No cabinets, but lots of herbs.
Yes, exactly.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Oh, Shannon, I believe you also have a special guest for the Game On Girlfriend podcast listeners. Do I have that right too?
We do. So we have a 10% off code.
And we have that code for you guys. Again, we'll put that in the show notes and underneath the video so you guys can snag it. It was so generous of you to do that, by the way.
Yes,
I'm so excited.
We are always, like I said, open for chatting or, anything to help you understand more of what we do and how the plants could help you too.
I love that. I don't know. The elderberry is calling my name. I can't wait. I'm going to be like hitting up your site later today. Just saying. All right, Shannon, thank you so much for being on the Game On Girlfriend podcast today. It's been such a joy to talk to you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.